Previously, we focused on cleaning up vocals by removing background noise and controlling harshness. Now we are adding the finishing touches before the mix begins. Hey guys, my name is Tati Music, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. So if you just found us on this episode, just know that we are in between a course that is taking place right now. So if you just stumbled across this episode, just know that there are other episodes before this leading to this. It would be wise for you to go back and watch those episodes until this one so that you don't get lost. So in today's episode, we'll take our vocal cleanup to the next level, refining the tone with mic emulation, softening breaths, fixing clipping or distorting parts, and applying light gating and AutoTune to polish the performance. Now, at this point, I think it's the time I also mentioned that we are not only working on one vocal, there are also other vocals involved in this project. So the problem that we have here is that these steps that we are doing here, we can actually use them on these vocals as well. Now, the thing is, these other vocals does not sound like the vocals that we are working on. So what we're going to do, we're going to shift away from these vocals that we're working on just now, and then continue from that process to that other part of the song, making sure that these steps does not only work on our vocals that we were just preparing now, but also work on that other part of the song, that other vocals that were recorded on a different microphone. So the problem that we have with the other vocals is that they sound very, very much thin, guys. Like they sound too thin. This is how they sound like, by the way.
Saraban man gasto. Manino mutle badi photo. Henelo bola genza cash no skolo. Hebe twang telibone. Manun tatela le bofoko. Hosatana bafuke ngwana ditoro.
This song is also linked to track number 2, as you can see that it's on track number 2. So these steps, they also correspond to this vocal. What we are going to do, guys, because this vocal, it sounds thin, guys. It sounds thin, but we can actually fix it because it happens. These are the problems that as a music producer, you will come across when you are mixing vocals. We are going to start with trying to bring back that body of the vocal. So we cannot change that the vocal was recorded using a very, very cheap condenser microphone. So we cannot change that, but we can change the outcome of how the vocal should sound like. We want this vocal to sound like a very, very expensive condenser microphone, which is why we are going to use a mic emulation plugin, guys. So a mic emulation plugin will take this sound, this exact sound that you're hearing, and somehow turn it to sound like that source microphone. So we're going to use a plugin here called Microm, guys. A very, very beautiful plugin. You can use any plugins that are mic emulation plugin. I just like this one. So I'm going to use the Microm plugin, this one. So what do we know? We know that this vocal was recorded using a condenser microphone. So what you can do is finding the exact or much similar microphone that was used when recording this specific vocal. So I am going to take this target microphone here, which is a condenser 87, and put it on the source. This is the source microphone. So this is the condenser 87. There are a lot of condensers, guys, that you can, find. This is the source microphone, guys. After this, we are going to find a target microphone. So in my years of using this plugin, I found that the most advanced target microphone I always go for is the condenser C414. That microphone, guys, has a lot of warminess in it, has a lot of body in it, guys. So this is our condenser microphone. So here we have harmonics. Harmonics, guys, are almost like your drive knob when you're working on a saturation plugin. So this is like boosting the drive knob. And then here we have proximity. So proximity is how far you want this source microphone to sound like the target microphone. So we're going to push it to around 2. We're going to leave the input gain, and then let's just listen and see how this thing sounds like.
Saraban man gasto. Manino mutle badi photo. Henelo bola genza cash no skolo. ebe tswang 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 tle le bone ngwana nthatela le bofoko go satsana ba foke ngwana ditorong ha patshwana le yena ke somong.
Now, you can tell that the vocal is a bit warmer now. That is why we used this condenser 87. It works for almost all the condensers. When we used this one, it sounded a bit down, like it was a bit distorting. And then when we used this one, the vocal was very, very bright. And when we used this one, the vocal sounded a bit plosive like. So this one is a much, closer to this microphone that they use recording this vocal. It's not perfect, but it sounds like a warmy vocal now. We can work with this thing. Now, this vocal does not only sound, like it was recorded with a cheap microphone. Also sound like it was recorded like badly, guys. Some other frequencies of this vocal are a bit, distorting. Not like in your face, but they are distorting frequencies, meaning that they are higher than other frequencies. This is a declipper plugin. It's from Isotope. There are presets that you can use here. I would actually maybe vocal mic clipping. Let's try that.
Saraban man gasto ngwaneno motle ba difoto ene lo bola ke ntsha cash no skolo tswang 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 tle le bone ngwana nthatela le bofoko go satsana ba fo.
So you can play it like this. You can decrease this thing up until you don't hear the clipping.
Ngwano ke tlo monyala o tlo bona Saraban man gasto ngwaneno motle ba difoto ene lo bola ke ntsha cash no skolo ebe tswang 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 tle le bone ngwana nthatela le bofoko go satsana ba foke ngwana ditorong ha patshwana le yena ke somong.
So this vocal is definitely clipping, guys, because after turning this thing to around -10, I can no longer hear that hissy, like texture-like sound at the top end.
Ngwano ke tlo monyala o tlo bona Saraban man gasto ngwaneno motle ba difoto ene lo bola ke ntsha cash no skolo ebe tswang 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 tle le bone.
So guys, not only you can have a clipping problem in vocals, you can also have the breath problems, the sounds when an artist is recording those vocals or recording a voiceover. So we just need to tackle that, very, very much quick. So if you can look here, we have a deep breath from also Isotope. It's an RX breath control. So it controls the breath. We have the target level, the DPFS, which is at around -57. Taming those things, and then we have it at target, guys. And then this thing, guys, will only tell you how much this thing is taming those breaths in between the vocal. And then we have the sensitivity, how much you want this plugin to work on those breaths. It sounds like this.
Ngwano ke tlo monyala o tlo bona Saraban man gasto ngwaneno motle ba difoto ene lo bola ke ntsha cash no skolo ebe tswang 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 tle le bone ngwana nthatela le bofoko go sa.
It almost works like your gating plugin, but difference is that this one only detects heavy breath sounds. Now, guys, we do not only have the breath problems. We used a noise suppression plugin that worked on the other vocals, but it's somehow lazy to work on this vocal. That is why we are calling in the big guns. We are calling the gate plugins, guys. We are making sure that this vocal is brick solid in not having those unnecessary low-end rumble frequencies, those atmospheric noises, those ground noises, and so on. So we're going to use a noise gate plugin. Now you know the difference, guys. So we're going to use Neutron 5 gate. So this is the plugin that you're going to use. We are going to go on the preset, and then we're going to click a dialog multi-band noise floor expander, guys. It's a preset. And this is how it sounds like, with and without.
Ngwano ke tlo monyala o tlo bona Saraban man gasto ngwaneno motle ba difoto ene lo bola ke ntsha cash no skolo ebe tswang 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 tle le bone ngwano nthatela le bofoko.
The vocal sounds solid, guys. There are no background noises that are going to be a problem at a later stage. So now let's shift back to that vocal that you're working on the first place, guys, because this last step, guys, will just be a topping on the cake. It will make sure that the vocal is sounding nice and solid, guys. So we're going to use AutoTune, guys. Everyone has AutoTune. So we are going to go on AutoTune. I'm just going to show you my simple, technique of using AutoTune. Going to open AutoTune Pro. I'm using AutoTune Pro. You can use any AutoTune, guys. So the routine speed, guys, is how far you want the AutoTune to correct your vocal, guys. I like to put my routine speed for my vocals at around 7. These are for the lead vocals. But for the backing vocals, I like to push it to around 5 for the backings. But for the lead, I like it at around 7 for my vocals. And the flex tune, guys, I like to put it around 20 or 25. So it's like boosting your return speed and also boosting your humanize, making the auto tune seems like it's not there when it's actually there. And then for vibrator, I just like to put it at around 1, nothing big, and then the humanize at around 5. So guys, after this, we are going to consolidate your vocals. You're going to start with the main vocals, consolidate them. You make sure that you highlight them and then you consolidate them like this. We are consolidating this vocal. It's a main vocal. So we're going to select it like this. And then you just click here and then consolidate your vocal. And then after that, guys, we have the backings here. Also with the backings, guys, after you've done consolidating the main vocal, you go back to your AutoTune, you set your AutoTune right, and then you go to these steps. You just click them like this, guys, Control and Shift, and make sure that they are open. And then you consolidate them as you have highlighted, guys. Make sure that you increase your highlight so that FL Studio knows which part of the vocals you are actually consolidating. So these are the vocals, these are the backings that I'm consolidating. So make sure that these backings, as you can see, that they're at 0. You need to push them to around 2. This is the 2 that we're working on. Now, these backings, they had things like fluff, things like background noise, things like a lot of things, guys, even not properly tuned, but these are the backings, guys. We cannot tune them like we did when we were using a Melodyne on the main vocal. These are just the backings, guys. Most times they are not heard, but they are felt. So after this, you just click consolidate on one track. It will consolidate all these vocals as they are, step by step. And after you've consolidated all these vocals step by step, you carry on with the other vocals as well. Make sure that you go back and forth, listen to how this sound in this specific vocal, consolidate it alone if that one feels like it needed to be consolidated alone. And then if the other ones, they sound good, just consolidate them as a group. That is how you do it. You save them and then at the end, you'll have vocals like this. Mina ngikuthandile, inhliziyo ikhethile, awufika lo December, ungazulahle ithemba. Uvele bese ngizwile ngandlebeni ungithandile, mina bese ngizwile ngandlebeni ungikhethile. Siyalo lakho kudelana, siphethe umaqondana wami, woza mama, woza. Siyalo lakho kudelana, siphethe umaqondana wami, woza mama, woza. Umuntu darling.